Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Two Exiles, One Portal. I am Mr. Coffee, joined by Casper, as always. I think that one was good,
That was pretty good. Even after a long break, pretty good.
even after a long break. I think, yeah, that felt good. That felt good. Yeah, we're professionals. I'm sorry it's been so long, guys.
We
Fucking
professional.
life is happening. I'm pretty
That's
sure
that's
everybody feels life.
that's one way to put it. That's one
Yeah, yeah. You know,
strong,
if
solid
they're
way. Oh shit! Sorry.
actually, I just kind of wanted to make a little plea to the world or anybody who does listen. Be a little gracious to those around you right now. Just in general, dude, everybody's going through
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Someone says something you don't like, sometimes, maybe chalk it off to a bad day. Everybody's having them. And you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
for my fellow man out there who is having a rough time. I feel you. We're suffering with you. Don't worry. It'll get better, hopefully.
No,
But
it's real. No, it's real. It's I think in there are multiple layers of what you're talking about. There's the political sense, right? And this is not a political show, so we're not gonna go too deep into that. But
yeah, that's kind of why I tried to skip glaze
there's
over it. It's
there's
just
the
like I know
political,
everybody's
but
having a hard time.
man, it's affecting us. Fuck it. It's the political show that's going on. There's the economy, which is I guess related to but the economy has been pretty fucking ass, especially when it comes to the economy of video games. Like,
Oh, you know what I think it is, dog? I think it's not even like the economy of video games, just devs.
no, no, no. Well, yes, but like
Like
for the last
so many bad
for the
devs
last
right now.
5 years, like games has becoming more expensive. Like the base level of like the pricing of video games has gone up.
Oh yeah, $60 to $80.
hmm
You want a fucking like
Like
bonus pack? Pay 100. Like
Nintendo right now wants to be like they want to sell their games at $90. Their new
fucking
GTA,
what?
the new GTA is slotted to come out at $120.
I'm not paying for that.
GTA 6. It has
You know what?
it was a
I will pirate
rumor.
it.
It was a rumor that first spread that the the scheme of the pricing for GTA 6 was going to be based on a per hour completion rate. So they determined
Nigga,
that it would
what?
take you X amount of hours to beat this game, and that was then attached to a certain dollar amount, and then that then
Yo,
spit out the $120.
hold up. Take a fucking pause, everybody who happened to hear what the fuck I just heard coming from the homie's mouth. Do these guys even understand what speedrunners are? Now, I'm curious. Does that mean that they get their money back?
Uh,
Will they just be
uh,
able to speedrun the game for free?
well, if you if they've predetermined that we have loaded up a game with 60 hours of content, it doesn't matter if you complete it in an hour,
No, 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 no.
right?
Steam offers refunds up to 2 hours as long as you have don't have 2 hours in the game. They'll refund it.
I doubt GTA 6 is going to
No.
come out on Steam.
Oh, that's also fucking
I
true.
seriously
All
doubt
right,
that.
all right, fair enough. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I find that asinine.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I beyond asinine.
What's funny about this is that
So what are they charging us? Like $2 per fucking hour or $1 per
I don't,
hour? Oh my god,
I
dude!
don't
How
know.
long is the
It's something.
game?
It's just funny.
What if it's like a four
Many
hour experience, bro, and they're charging us like
many
$40 an hour?
many moons ago, back when I was in early college, I, I had a buddy of mine who said to me, the way I rationalize buying a video game if I can get X amount of hours out of it, right? So if you buy a game and it's like $30 to buy a game, he wants to be able to play that video game at least for 30 hours. So a dollar per hour, right? And
Mm.
his explanation was very logical to me. It was like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. But then when you're now at this venture of it, where you're looking at, all right, 60 hours. So that means 2 hours, $2 per hour. When you break it down like, wait, I was like, oh, that's not a bad price. But $120 for a video game?
You know what? Look it. I'm just gonna throw this out there, guys. Um, if we start buying things based on the amount of fucking hours that we're gonna get out of it, dog. First of all, theoretically, the quality of shit should rise, right?
Well,
But we're not gonna get that.
that's
We're
the
that's the
that's the
It's ridiculous. We're getting the fucked end of the value train on this one.
well, that's the that's the arguments I've heard about this is that where you didn't add 60 hours a game. What you did was 60 hours of fetch quest. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
But you kept doing it.
collect doodads, and it's not like
Well, yeah.
60
Look
hours of
at
like dialogue and missions and main campaign. It's like maybe 28 hours of that, and then the rest of it is just like, oh, collect 80 different types of cars, or go find all the spray painted emblems and
Oh
find
yeah,
the
yeah,
stupid
yeah.
Easter eggs and get 100% completion. That's what they're referring to, and that's what they're using that as a justification of this is a 60-hour game, so it's okay for us to charge you $120. And it's a this is dangerous because you could just come up with this number out your ass as a developer.
They pretty much did.
So nothing's stopping a
They
developer saying this game will take you
whatever
80 hours.
like dude, whatever bullshit that they justified to try to put a literal double the price of standard fucking video games. That's
What if they start charging per gig?
oh, then I'd never buy another video game again. Like straight up, dude, never again.
It's like this game is 80 gigs big, so $80. You already know most video games are like 100, 120,
You know,
150.
I really feel like what you just said is a really like super bad idea that would fucked up work. You know why? I think people are willing to pay more for things they don't understand. And if you start charging it, like think about it, right? So everybody knows, like everybody bases their prices on what a video game should cost about like what's in the 90s. How much does a gig cost? That would be a chain like the word that 100% that's the worst timeline.
Well, again, you can still come up with this out your ass. You can just create bloat.
No, but that and even that, like I'm not even worried about that part. I'm not even worried about that part. Because then people would sit there, they dig in the files, and be like, "Oh, this is literally 100 and something gigs of bullshit, literally just the unused assets." And people would fucking they'd get some backlash, and the developer would release another bullshit fucking Steam later and fucking win. But like, I'm talking just like straight up, how do you value a gig? How much does a gig cost? What's a gig cost, Casper?
Uh, uh, I don't know how they. I mean, I guess if you could.
That's what I mean. The fact that right, hold up. Now the fact that you said
I
that
thought you think
you don't
I thought
know.
you literally thought I knew the answer to that. I was about to fucking
No, 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 no,
Google or
no.
some shit.
The It's just the thought that you don't know if that came up in anybody's head that's listening right now, that is the strategy. If you go to buy GTA 6 and it's $129 because you're fucking sitting there and you got to pay taxes, it's probably more now at this point, what, 140 on that? I think 145. So you're paying your $145 and they're just like, "Don't worry guys, we're charging you by the gig." If you have a moment where you're just like, how much is a gig supposed to cost? You have a problem. The fact that the normal video game costs a certain amount and it has incrementally changed tells you in your brain you have like a reference of what it should cost. That's why coffee shops can't charge $30 per fucking cup of random
They're
ass
getting
cup of
they're
mud.
getting there.
They're well with the never mind. With pull up with things maybe right now. But I'm making like a random, not even random. I'm making
Last time I
like
went to
a general
Starbucks, it
point.
was like $9 for a large.
Right, but 30 is three times that.
I
You would wait, hold up. Now this is my whole point. I would expect if I had a $5 bill and I wanted a normal ass coffee from somewhere, I could get a coffee for $5. Right? And it would be a decent cup of coffee. Therefore, the reference is a decent cup of coffee. Now, Starbucks has really like tailored its marketing toward we're kind of upscale, we give value, it's all fancy and shit. So now what are you willing to pay for fancy shit? even for like designer clothes, cars, you're willing to pay multiples of the cost of an item for that. And for them, they gave you $2 of coffee at, I think my order at Starbucks, the large, is like $7 right now. So they sell me $2 of coffee for $7. And before I was buying it for six.
You get the nice
So,
cup and the nice whipped cream.
if like
I mean, I
all
don't know
the
about nice
cheap
whipped
ass shit.
cream, but they give you the whipped cream and the sugars and the syrups,
Yep, and they make it. Some
and they
baristas
write
even
your
make it all
name in the
fancy, and they
cup.
like it's like with that you have a reference. You're like, oh yeah, I'd pay double for a fancy coffee, right? And that is why like Starbucks can't get to the point where they just start charging a made up ass number. But with like the internet coming, or not coming, but the internet being such like a
Literally.
thing that it is, it's getting to the point where you cannot put a price on certain shit because no one has a reference price, which allows them to dictate that price. We have to be careful as consumers. Sorry, this
The,
has become like a completely different talk.
it wa- it's funny. I was thinking about it. How do I pivot this? Um,
I don't even know, bro. Sorry. Like,
this was an economic lesson. We just went. Just, hi guys. This is a
hi.
Path of Exile ARPG podcast.
Uh, you know
But
what? If you liked it, press a button.
yeah, if you're here today, you're like, man, where
I've
the
been
fuck
waiting for
have we
bad
been?
news.
Where the fuck have we been? Why the fuck have we not posted anything? There ain't nothing to talk about.
Yes, there
I mean,
is.
there is. There. No, no, no. Wait. Let me say this. There is nothing good to talk
There we go.
about.
Yeah. All
You
bad
have
news.
expressed our views has expressed to us. They don't like they don't prefer our hate videos. And right now, there is nothing but hate. There is vitriol right now in the
Vitriol.
gaming vitriol, vitriol,
Vitriol.
vitriol
Yes.
in both the Reddit Path of Exile 1 and the Path of Exile 2. There is a few updates that finally there've been enough that has been happening that I reached out to Coffee. I'm like, I think there might be enough to kind of like culminate together and then talk, make an episode.
Into something.
Yeah, because it's like it, the last couple of weeks have been like very sparse information, very sparse information, and if any information was released, and then the stuff that did got released, it was just utter trash, just
There
utter
was two
trash.
server maintenances. There was a hot fix
Well, I
in
don't think we
PoE.
recorded. I don't think we recorded. I could be wrong, but I don't think we recorded anything on the Dawn of the Hunt Path of Exile 2 release.
Oh, you know why? Because I don't care. Like, I'm not even gonna
I know
lie,
you.
dude. Like,
No, I
I
meant
just
like
can't.
I know we didn't record anything regarding that because we decided, but we did. No, no, no. I'm looking back now. I'm looking back. We did the Dawn of the Hate episode where we talked
Oh yeah,
about
oh
it,
yeah,
and you
yeah, yeah.
kind of just
I remember
you
that.
gritted your teeth the entire episode. And I was just talking. Um, those are fun. Those are fun. Um, so yeah, so we did do that. Um, and that was on April 2nd. So the remainder of April, and this is we're recording this on April 29th, right? So for those of
Mhm.
you who's been kind of sitting down like, whoa, what the fuck? Maybe some of you kind of like unsubscribed, right? It's possible, but
It is
understand
100.
that we're not in this to like push content and just like fill your inbox
Fill
with
your
like
feet.
notifications.
Yeah,
Like if
we're
there's
here
something
to
to
talk
talk
about
about,
past shit.
if there's something good to talk about it, I mean we'll talk about the negative shit too, but it's just so
This is
it makes us
just
feel
dead. This
bad.
isn't even. You know what it is, dude? This isn't even negative. It's dead.
Yeah, man. It's
it's one of those things where like when the leagues get start in what was it, July?
mhm.
Jesus Christ.
Wait. League
When the
starts.
is that what you or is that league fucking announcement?
A league
Oh
announcement,
my
I
god,
believe,
please
is in
don't tell
June,
me. Okay, I was
so
about
it
to say.
might be July.
Right, all right. So
I could
if
be wrong, but right
in
now, shit is way too volatile to even stick to that.
like dude,
And
I
we'll go into it in this episode. But
I
I
can't
just want to get
believe
the viewers, like, if you this is 15 minutes in, if you're still with us right now, just understand we're gonna try to cover as much as what's been going on in general. I'm not gonna throw up any links. I'm not gonna throw up anything. It's just too much. It's just too much negative to follow it all. If you are just like us and you've been following on, you probably know what we're referring to. I do suggest you go on Reddit, PathFX on Reddit to really be up to date on everything that's going on. Um, but just know it's everything's bad news. All of it. All of it
yeah,
is bad
all of it.
news. Nothing's new. Nothing's good. Nothing's good.
There is
Um,
literally nothing positive to say about Path of Exile or Path of Exile
all
2
of the
right now.
hot
And that is
fixes,
the saddest thing I've had to say today.
yes, all of the hot fixes from the initial Dawn of Hate episode that have been released have fixed nothing. Now, if you want to be technical about it and you want to go sparse through the patch notes, oh, but they fixed this. Oh, but they fixed that. Yes, but the underlying game is still unfun or not fun, I should say.
They haven't done anything to really address the
The
issues
main
that
issue of the game,
really matter.
right?
We don't care that the game might be a little broken. That's kind of all games. Nothing.
They added affinities. Ooh.
Ooh, are you fucking
the
real right
game
now?
still
What?
the game still feels pretty bad. So again, yes, they have done some quality of life changes, but that's not what the game needs. The game does not need quality of life. It's in don't get me maybe I'm
The
misunderstanding
QOL
this.
right now is
The
probably good right
Path
about
of
now.
Exile 2
Y'all need
is
to
in
fix on
early
the
access,
game.
is it not?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
why are they so focused on quality of life stuff? You should be fixing
right.
mechanical stuff for it. Like that should be your whole entire goal. Fixing mechanical underlining of a game. And then after that, once the mechanical underpinnings of the game is good, then fix the shit around the edges. But they're so focused right now on fixing the quality of life stuff, and they're not giving much information as to what's happening with the underpinnings of the game, the mechanical stuff. And it's just like, what the fuck is
It's
happening?
like it's just one of those things. And right now, like PoE 2 is at this point, dude. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna end up liking it, no matter what state it's in, and that's really sad. Just because of the base parts of the game that they feel unwilling to change. Path of
I,
Exile 1, I'll get a little bit excited again when July starts rolling through because who wouldn't want to like have a league again? Holy fuck. That's
you
like a
know,
crazy statement right now.
we are
Like
approaching our 100th episode of doing this podcast, and I have loved doing every episode of it. We've learned a lot. We've said a lot of dumb shit. We've changed our methodologies of doing this. And if you would have asked me 100 episodes ago, hey, by the time you get to the one episode, GGG's gonna die. Maybe you shouldn't start a Path of Exile podcast. I would have looked at myself in the mirror. I would have looked at myself like, shut the fuck up. Path ain't going nowhere, bro. We lit. We go in, bro.
the
Like,
leagues kept getting good, like have
we
being
was
really
riding a high.
good.
Like we was running on like a 4 year high.
Just
And
enjoying the game.
it's like all right, so since our last episode, there's been like two developers that's quit. Like I had this conversation with Alex a couple days back. He asked me, he's like, "What do you think is the final outcome of all that's going on?" And this is a hot take for me, and I don't usually make prediction, but I told him, I'm like, look, never in the history of humankind Have you ever been in a situation where a kingdom or a country or any body that controls human beings is controlled by two people? It never works out. And right now, GGG currently has two head developers, but it's one entity, not two. It's not two different studios. It's one studio. So you're gonna see clashes of creativity versus business versus all this stuff, and one of them is gonna win, and one of them is gonna end up quitting. Now, does that mean Jonathan's gonna win? Does it mean that Rogers, John, I forgot the other one's name. God damn it, Mark is gonna be the one to quit? We don't know that yet. I don't know that yet. But what I do know is, as things keep going bad, and they continue to go bad, the pressure of the developers that are working this thing is gonna get worse and worse and worse.
You know
And
what? I'll fucking say it. I miss Chris Wilson.
I I do too. Because at least with Chris Wilson, whether or not he was a good leader or a bad leader, there was only one leader. So you knew who was responsible for it. You knew like, okay, what do you have to say? And for Chris Wilson's character, he would always stand firm to his beliefs, but he also understood like, okay, I was wrong,
You
right?
know,
I
I
was wrong.
just loved how they listened to the community.
Right.
Not just that they listened to the community, but the fact
And they
that he heard.
communicated.
I felt like Path Painters had a voice. You know,
Right. And that's what made them build, 13 years worth of social capital and trust with their community. And in winning Chris's departure, I don't care what anyone on this platform tells us and who is listening who said, "Oh, you guys are full of shit. You guys are wrong." My cold belief is that Jonathan has single-handedly burned through almost all of that trust and that.
you know. I actually think you're slightly wrong. I think that all of that trust was Chris Wilson's. Every patch. Hi, I'm Chris Wilson. Bro, Chris Wilson had my trust. I realize now it was not GGG. It was the company underneath that man's leadership, or the development team underneath that man's leadership. Sorry, not the company. But the fact when he left, unfortunately, Jonathan didn't have really any victories of his own to call for and say, well, guys, come on, I stuck to my guns here, and we you had to trust me, and you trusted me, and it's good. He had no social credit to burn.
And
I
from
don't
day
even can't even
one,
remember fucking Jonathan's last name, bro.
I don't know either. I don't know either.
But I know motherfucking Chris Wilson.
Like since day one, he was over promising. He would say shit. He would say shit. He would say shit. Kept building it up. Kept building it up. And when he was supposed to shine, failed. Not just once, but so far now, if I'm keeping track, it's three times.
You know what though? I
Release,
had a
first patch,
any
and now this patch.
bro, anyone who would allow the cannibalization of a completely separate dev team is just,
This is a good
I can't
transition
even
to
really
show this.
describe into how bad of an idea that is. You have twice as many hands. Half of them don't work on the current project, so have to come up to speed to learn the current project, and then you have to get them to work together in a proper, like, oh my god,
Yeah,
dude. It would have been better for him literally just to hire another set of fucking people to help the PoE2 dev team.
yeah. They needed to strategically expand the studio. They needed to strategically expand the studio and not only expand the studio. In my personal opinion, they should have separated the studios.
God, that would have been a much better idea,
They should have
dude. Oh,
said GGG North, GGG South. If GGG
yes. Or
South works on
GGG
path one,
Montreal.
yeah, yeah, like
Or
you know, it's the same company, right? But different leadership structures. That way, you keep you have meetings between the two teams, and you figure out, that there's some parallels between the two games. But
and you know which one's working.
yeah, and you gotta, but whatever this craziness that they decided to do, where they thought they were gods, and they're like, they really thought they were the exiles, they thought they were the conquerors, man. They thought they were the fucking, they had all the power. They're like, we could do this. No one could
Bro,
do this.
they've been warning themselves the entire time.
It's like they
Ah.
really thought that they can like do this weird structure and then nothing could go bad and everything was going right for them. And in some ways it was. But you fucked up. You fucked up. And I think someone needs to step forward and say, you know what? Yeah, we fucked up.
Fix one project at a time, please.
And then be able to then now say, okay, how do we recover from this? How do we
And it's really actually not necessarily okay. So there's a difference between simple and easy, right? Simple, just it's a straightforward answer, and if they did it, it would work. And that's not cannibalizing your own dev team. Reseparate the teams, choose to or don't, and choose to save one, which they have, which is PoE 2. But now they're fucking that up because
the
they chose the wrong one. They need if they were going to fix one, they needed to fix PoE 1 because the devs have worked on the game long enough.
as of right
Send and
now,
crazy. What?
As
Sorry.
of right now, they have pushed the same content, I believe, for about a year, almost reaching a year and a half of just
Is that was
separation.
actually going to be my next question. With they what's the new end game? Is there a new end game?
There is no new end game. As of right
Oh,
now, as
well,
it's been, there's nothing that has been released. What they're doing, instead of extending Frasier, they're gonna say basically we're gonna do private leagues now. Because Frasier hit a
oh
fucking.
no, I'm talking about 2.
Okay, let me finish this
I
thought. Let me
yeah,
finish this
yeah.
thought.
Yeah, sorry.
So, um,
Frasier is
I'm
the
just
new
thinking.
is just private
I'm
leagues.
getting deflated as I'm thinking about it. Sorry.
Sorry,
So
the new ones is just the private
Frasier
leagues.
hit an all-time low. Not just all-time low for. I'm talking about Steam numbers. Path has never been this low. I think Path hit like 2,000 players.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And I can pull it up just to make sure I'm Steam
Yeah, I'm checking it
Steam
right now
player
too.
base. Um, Sorry guys, dead air. Um,
There's literally 2,600 people playing Path right now.
2,600. Yeah. That is the
And
lowest that has any league in Path historically in the last 13 plus years. Even this late into the league, there's always been at least 20,000,
bro, PoE
30,000.
2 has 32,000 fucking current players right now. What?
Well, okay, so that's that. So let me go into shift over to Path 2. So now all this been happening, right? Dawn flopped, or it wasn't as significant. Then they released a hotfix, again, controlling the fire, putting out the fires. Every hotfix that they released really didn't address the underlying issue. They're up to like the third or fourth hotfix at this moment. And one of the last hotfixes they did was they just upped the loot. They just upped the loot. They just basically buffed loot drops across the board, basically saying to the players like, this ain't gonna get much better, but hopefully you get some dopamine hits. It may not feel as bad, basically. And I think that's what's been at least for some players have been at least okay. At least I'm getting like I'm getting divines. You know what I mean? Like I'm getting that dopamine hit from this game right now. So that's what's been, I think, supporting some of it. But right now, Settlers is now going into the private leagues. So for a
Yo,
fourth time, they're now doing Settlers again as a content for the next month and a half for content for
right
Path
before
1.
league,
Before an announcement,
before announcement of league. Yeah, yeah, they're
which
doing the
may
private leagues.
may come first or second week of June.
So now I have a question for you. And it's a question I actually kind of don't want to ask, but I kind of do want to ask, just out of the simple fact of the numbers don't lie, and I'm sitting here looking at it. Last Epoch only has 30,507 current players. Do you think that Path of Exile 2 is a better game than Last Epoch right now?
Which one? Two or first? I'm sorry.
Two, two,
Two.
two, of course. Because two right now has 32,000 concurrent players. It actually is outperforming Last Epoch still.
As a user that has, I, and I can't say this, I can't flaunt my hours on Path 2 as I can do with Path 1. But I did play Dawn on a Hunt, and I strategically stopped at the end of um, Act 3.
Hmm.
I just really wanted to give my character a chance to like, all right, how does it, I played the Huntress, played the Spear. I just wanted to give it a chance. The end game from my understanding has not changed. Fundamentally
Hmm.
has not changed. Access to the end game has increased dramatically, meaning portals are now infinite. So pinnacle bosses have infinite at level at difficulty 0 have infinite portals now. So you don't have to worry
Okay.
about like not being able to kill a zero tier pinnacle boss. And for those of you wondering what the hell that is, it means like the first your first encounter with them. Basically, it's not as hard. It's usually just helps you unlock certain things. Um, Beyond that, it's still the same. You got bookmarks now. You can find your way. You can add a lot more layers of content onto the the Atlas map.
Waystone.
So
They're not maps. They're waystones.
yeah.
I won't give them the title of maps. Get the fuck
Okay,
out of
so
here.
the
Sorry.
Waystones.
Yep.
Now, this hurts my soul. This hurts my soul for saying this. But if you want to be really fucking honest, Path 2 is still a better game than Last Epoch. And I know if Alex hears this, he's gonna be like, "Bro, really? Man, fuck you!" Like he's gonna get mad at me.
You think
Um,
he'll actually? You think he'll? You think he?
yeah,
You think he thinks that it is?
yeah, because he's all in on Last Epoch. He's all in. He feels like it's a fundamentally better game than Path. Um,
And it's funny. We talked about it, and we actually came to the fact that we just fundamentally disagree.
and my argument to this is what it boils down to is endgame.
For me,
Path
it
just
boils down
has more
to
endgame
crafting.
content.
At least
Graphics,
in
yeah.
Path
I mean,
One.
if you compare Last Epoch to Path 1, you could say in many ways that Last Epoch has a more updated graphics and it is better in some ways.
But I think that's all it has is
Yeah,
graphics.
yeah. Yeah. That's as far as I go too. I
Yeah,
think
I
Last
like
Epoch
even
has some
now.
serious, even with their last, and I've gotten all the way to Aberoth, and like my character's doing at least a half a mil damage. Um, it feels boring. It
It's
doesn't
hilarious you say that because I have been feeling that way the entire time I played Last Epoch.
like killing monsters does not give you a level of excitement. Blasting echoes doesn't give you the same level of excitement. There is no way of juicing. There is their juicing methodology. doesn't feel juicing. It just feels like cranking up difficulty, which is not the same as juicing. Juicing, yes, you up the difficulty, the life of the monsters. So in some ways, yes, but it feels different. Like you can juice a map without adding more difficulty for it. For example, you can add different layers of content, like for example, breach and harbingers and whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like you can, but not necessarily make it harder. Because you could do this at a
Correct.
team one map,
Right. Correct.
right? Echoes in Last Epoch, the only way to really feel like you're progressing is to increase the difficulty. Now, the kicker is you do not increase the pack sizes or the what the pack sizes are. Or,
So basically, all you're doing is adding health and damage, or
yeah,
nerfing yourself.
yeah,
Essentially, one of
yeah.
the two. It's the same
It's
either
that's
way.
all you're
Yeah.
doing over and over and over, and every map feels the same. It feels like you're fighting the same monsters. It feels like
Oh
you're
God.
not.
Yes.
It and Aberoth, I've killed them like 100 times already. Like it's like okay, what else? Like that's it. It's nothing else. It's like Uber Aberoth. Okay, well they made Uber Aberoth so absurd that they're making it seem like oh my god, to kill this guy you need to be top of the top of the top of the top of the food chain. No, you just you have to know life the game. You have to just mindlessly drone and get every perfect item perfectly rolled in order for you to even have a marginal chance because the difficulty of the boss is just scaled atrociously. Not because it's difficult mechanically, because it's just oh we're gonna add it this much health, more health, this much more damage, and we're gonna give them like 3x the speed of cast speed. So your reaction time has to be godlike. That's not fun. That's just that's just for the people who can do it. It's just a matter of bragging rights. And
Hmm.
again, it's yeah, you put rare. I will give it to Last Epoch. The crafting is at the very least approachable. Even as a new player like myself, I don't claim myself to be a Last Epoch expert, but at the very least, it's approachable. I can at least someone understand it. I don't feel it doesn't feel intimidating to start it and to kind of navigate it, and it's very basic. So if you're looking for a game to get into and you don't want to play Diablo, I would highly recommend Diablo. I mean not Diablo, sorry, Last Epoch. I would highly recommend it. It's the right blend of path and not Diablo. More updated graphics, boom, 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 no problem. If you want the next level, I would still recommend Path 2 because Path 2 does have better graphics. With the recent fixes, you can still say that Path 2 is still a better game because you can still add Breach, Harbingers, Expedition. You can still add. Path 2 is built on the back of Path 1. They're not recreating anything. So a lot of that stuff is still there mechanically, and they're pulling from it to try to make it something more than it is. So at the at its bare essence, it's still a better game because mechanically,
Yeah.
Path One is better than Last Epoch because of the level of content that it has. Even
I
again,
honestly think that
Tomb of
if
the
you
Erase,
compare
the Tomb of the Erase
it,
content that just released with Last Epoch
mhm.
isn't end game content. It's
Oh,
like it's an augmentation of its current end game content. And what I mean by this is you didn't play Synthesis, so you don't remember Synthesis. But it's kind of for those who listening who play Synthesis League, it's kind of like, oh, I got these echoes, but when I do these echoes, I get a every now and then I get a drop of a different type of echo, which I can then insert it into my current echo map and do those echo like woven. They call them woven echoes. And some of these woven echoes have like different boss fights that give me special abilities. It has different crafting benches in those maps, but they're not necessarily like its own game, end game content per se. It just augments the what's already there. Um, and some of it's kind of cool. Some of it is kind of like, okay, it's whatever. It's some of it helps you target farm certain items, which is cool again. But again, it doesn't feel like it improves their like end game. At least
Hmm.
not to me. It feels like it's mostly like a distraction to what their end game is already is. And it's the underlying problem with it is that, oh, you're just increasing the difficulty, nerfing yourself, not necessarily feeling like you're juicing maps or you're juicing their content. Like killing monsters in that
Yeah.
game feels meh. Just doesn't feel the same. Their loot lizards, just their loot pops feel meh as fuck. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe I don't know. It just doesn't feel the same. Does not feel the same at
Uh,
all.
literally with me, if you compared literally nothing else, if you gave like everything to last epoch and the crafting in Path of Exile 1 is just so much better, I give it to Path. I believe that last epoch's crafting is fundamentally fucked.
I can understand the argument. I don't completely agree, but I can understand it only because I look at it from a point of view of like casual player. Like if you're looking for something that's approachable, you don't have to get your own dissertation, PhD, in the crafting of a game to be able to you be engaged with it. Then that definitely Path of Exile. But
Right, but
if it's something more
this is my
approachable
point
that
though.
you don't want to spend 3 months trying to learn the system and you want to still want to like make marginal improvements to your character, then that's Epoch definitely has a better approach to it.
This is going to be my rebuttal. My rebuttal is that if you are a character who gets to endgame and you start itemizing, you get your item, you try to craft on it, you fail, you're like, I guess this is slightly better than mine, and you put it on. In Path, from the moment you get into maps, your crafting potential is through the roof. You can craft yourself a good set of boots, and if you understand the game in any capacity, watch a video or two. I understand that's a fucking fuck thing to say with no tutorials, but watch a video or two. You will be able to craft yourself something extraordinarily specific to your build that helps you get to bosses in late game. I'm not sitting there hoping the same fucking exact item drops with better stats. I feel like that's just and then having to start over.
Yeah,
Oh, I love that. That's my new. That's I'm actually making that my
I'm making.
background.
I got that hideout. That's my hideout. I was gonna. I, we'll talk about that afterwards. Um,
That's gonna be my new
I
background for my
I
PC.
I am.
Thanks.
That's currently where I'm at right now in that Epoch, and it doesn't make me want to play.
And I feel like that is a fundamentally wrong thing. You
Like,
that is not the way that you should do it. If you have gathered the materials, because think about how long you've been crafting, right? And how many materials of the crafting that you have, right? And then think about how many bases you need to get what you need. Or not even bases. Like if you have like an item that you don't like, say you're like, dude, I don't care about any of
so
the legendary
the
helms.
the woven thing and the circle of the factions does help you target farm some of these bases a little better. Now, a little better. It's not entirely better. Like,
Well, to replace, for instance, like the last time I played last Epoch, the to replace the thing,
did you play with
the
certain
one thing I
factions?
want, I did. I
All right.
got to the point where I needed to replace my boots. And I was like, okay, so I need to find a boots with this kind of base, and they needed to be this,
Hmm.
that double stat fucking spoopy boopy, whatever the
Yeah,
fuck
the
it is. I can't
exalted
remember.
double stats. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I needed a set with that and a secondary stat that worked for me. So
Yeah,
I kept looking for those
and
things.
those are
I
random. Yeah.
could I also couldn't buy it because I hadn't killed enough fucking monsters. You telling me that 150 fucking hours into your game, I hadn't killed enough monsters to trade for the fucking item I want?
Yeah, getting collecting the favors that you need.
Nah, dude, I quit, bro. I like that right there. No.
Oh, did you
No,
went?
no,
Did
no,
you
no, no,
you
no.
you went trade? You went trade faction?
I think so.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. So this time around, part of my agreement with Alex is that we went Circle of Fortune, which is not the merchant one, not the trade auction house one.
Mm,
And we went the Circle of Fortune is the that's the solo self found, which basically helps you giga target the shit you're looking for through prophecies.
mm,
So you're looking like, let's say you're looking for bases for boots. You basically giga juice your they call it a lens, and then you look for
right.
prophecies on exalted or uniques or set boots, and you basically giga juice all of your drops to be specifically boots. Now, this
That
somewhat
doesn't,
works.
I'm not gonna lie, dude, that doesn't solve my problem.
No, 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 it doesn't solve the problem. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It
That
does
just
not solve the
sounds
problem. It
worse.
sounds like it does. It sounds like
It
it's trying to, but it doesn't translate to that because it still feels like utter shit. Because okay,
it's
you get
just
a
that sounds
prophecy,
way worse.
you hit a prophecy, right? You hit a prophecy, and it says it prophecy completed, and you get 90 crap drops. You're sitting there looking through these goddamn drops, right? Even though you got a filter on, even though you're filtering all the shit that you are looking for, you look at all these drops and you're like, all of them is utter shit. The problem that they have, the path actually figured this out just recently, is that there's certain stats that should not roll on certain items. It makes no fucking sense. If I
Yes.
have a wand, why is it rolling strength? Why?
Bro, first of all, there's some you didn't play the other version of Kinetic Blast before this one.
No.
The fact that you can get random ass fucking stats was really useful for some builds. For some builds. But they were definitely not the norm. I'll give you that.
Yeah, they had the weight is lower, much lower. And
Yes, you have to
I
like
remember a
guarantee the stat.
time where the stats, like for example, on a wand, the difference between getting physical damage and like element damage was like almost the same weight, which is like, what does that
Oh,
even make
50-50.
sense?
Yeah.
And then they recently adjusted that. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense. So the stats are still available, but the weight is much lower, so you have a much less chance of rolling those stats. Because it's like,
So
why would it roll? That just makes no sense.
this is weird. I want to agree with you, but at the same like I want to agree that that the change is better, but I think that might be why it has been a nightmare trying to craft my helm
In
before I
Path?
stopped playing Path. Yeah.
Well, in a game like Path, where there is 80 layers of RNG, I can
Yeah, and
understand
then you have
why this
the
is one of
int
them too.
weightings, and
But
it's like you have the int weightings and shit, and it's just
last
like fuck, dude.
last epoch is as predictable as it comes. You can predict the outcome of crafts. You can predict the outcome of like a
You
lot
know
of
what
shit.
though? Hold up. That I will also say that if I want to make an item, I can guarantee an item.
A basic item, yes.
No, in PoE1, you can guarantee an item. You do it by farming, and you farm the items, and then you use it on a base. If you
I
go
have
and
agreed
collect the
so far.
fossils, well, if you, for instance,
Because
right?
it's not
So
gonna take you one hit to guarantee it. No, it's
no,
gonna
no,
take
no,
you a
no, no,
few.
no. But it is going to take you multiple tries, the same way that it would in any other game, right? You're never just going to get
But
exactly,
that's
exactly,
RNG.
exactly the right. But that's I'm not arguing. But
Okay.
but my whole thing
Say
is like
guaranteed though. That's not
I
guaranteed.
you can
That's like
guarantee
saying you
certain
guarantee
things
me hitting a
by
lotto, uh, making it rich if I go to Las
no,
Vegas.
but no, but for instance, right? There's certain bows that if you put a certain stat and then slam after that stat, you're guaranteed another stat as long as you have the prior one. That's how, I don't know if you remember Totem Explode. Once you have the totem tree on the bow, you can literally guarantee +3. Like it was super not hard. It did require gathering a few materials and gathering the right crafts, but if you are understandable, and even like do you remember the 8 link helms I was buying and shit? Bro, the fact of an 8 link coming out was like 30 to 40% if you built it correctly and you put everything together. You can guarantee certain steps with beast crafting or harvest crafting, or back when metamorph was a fucking thing, you got cool ass drops. Like, I don't know, bro. Itemization in Path is just way better.
It's also
Way
way more
better.
congested, but yeah. But
It is congested,
that doesn't mean
but it's
Last Epoch
robust.
somehow is better than that. Bro, I've had 8, 9 stash tab of just bases
In Path?
in Last Epoch.
Oh yeah, that sounds awful.
It was just like, oh, more bases. All right, more bases in case I need them. In case I need them, and it's just like the ones I'm looking for no drop, and it's just like, bro, what's
Yeah.
happening here?
And
Um,
you're sitting there hoping to find one with a little bit extra crafting potential, 40 hopefully. Oh man, I really hope this drops exalted.
and then
Nah,
yeah,
fuck that,
you
dude.
finally find the 1 or 2 LP item you're looking for. All right, cool. Let me go craft this. And it
And your numbers are shit.
and not only just numbers of shit,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Your
it
numbers are
you
shit.
just get
You don't
really
get a
bad.
good
You
enough.
get a bad luck on the LPs,
-12, -9, -13. You're like, what the fuck?
and you're like, oh, now I gotta go find another one. Which is like,
Bro, that's just so funny.
I get it. It's RNG. I get it. It's a grind. I get it. But there's something demoralizing about finding the item you've been looking for, only to then fuck up later. And you know what I mean? Like when you find a mage blood, you made it.
You
That's it.
know,
You made it.
this is the fun part, right? So while I was playing last Epoch, I actually remember this. I tried to craft really early. I That's part of what I loved about the fact of like early game in Path. If you gotta get a couple alks, fucking throw it in there. You know what I mean? So I was grabbing stuff using the legendary potential. Dude, by the time I hit end game, I knew it was fucked. I was just like, this is gonna be awful. I checked out
I
of the
have
game.
most
I
of my
got to a certain
guy.
point with my characters, was just like, yeah, no, I'm done.
Most of my guy has mostly all at least 1 or 2 LP items, all with the correct stat. The stage that I'm at right
Bro, I
now,
cannot imagine how long that took you.
not as long as you think. Not as long as you think. I was actually a lot more proficient this time around in my method of doing it. And it took me a
Okay.
lot easier to get. Right now, what
How long
if
did it take you to get your best item?
very early actually, I got lucky with it. I got lucky
Okay.
with it. And I had some help with Alex because he actually found the exalted stat that I needed.
So
So
you basically doubled your RNG. Got you, got
yeah,
you.
yeah. So, but the sword that I'm using, which is not the most optimal, ironically, I got lucky with it early on and I found it. Um, but but it's not the best version of the sword, right?
Oh, of course not,
I
because there's
have
like,
gotten
isn't there, doesn't it go up to like
30.
5 legendary LP or something?
Yeah, yeah, but this one is called Weaver's. It's called Weaver's.
The Weaver stats. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to get that shit as Weaver and then reveal the stats, right? This is what I have to do. This
Yeah.
is the sword. I've gotten at least anywhere from 30 to 50 of these swords, right? All of them is utter shit. All of them. Like
Yeah,
it's
dude.
unimaginable how shitty these fucking swords are. So I've been stuck with the first one I've found this entire time because at least this it only has 2 stats, but the 2 stats really does help my damages: attack speed and crit chance. Like those two stats. Everything else I've gotten is like a just a random collection of like all the stats in the game, basically. At this point, I don't even put
Oh,
them in
there's
my
some
stash.
necrotic
I
resistance.
reveal
Yeah,
them. Yeah,
yay.
I reveal them and I just throw them out. I throw them in the floor. I'm like, garbage. Um, so yeah. So I'm a little defeated when it comes to that. But everything else, at least the one LPs that I've been able to get, it's been all right. One LP. I need to find a good base to transfer this over. I don't know if this existed back when you played, but the temporal rift at least now guarantees one exalted stat. I don't know if that was
I think that was a thing.
that was a thing.
Yeah, it
Okay.
ge- it ge- it did. It guaranteed one stat, but it didn't guarantee
Two.
which stat. It just guaranteed a stat.
No, 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 no. So now, when you do temporal to get that exalted stat, you can choose which one you want.
Oh, okay.
So you can choose which one. So if you want the exalted stat, you can just choose the exalted. I want this one, and it gives it to you, guaranteed. Now,
Okay.
where it gets squirrely is when you do two LPs.
Right, because it's going to give you one stat and
It's going
then
to give you
one
one
dead stat.
guaranteed stat, and then the second one is just going to YOLO it.
Yeah, most likely just give you a dead stat.
And most likely it's going to give you a dead stat. So you need to get an item where it has at least four great stats.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. The other reason I probably wouldn't fuck with that, even in that fucking like form, is the simple fact of if I choose a weighting, right? So say I want to choose max life, right? Just for the
Mhm.
sake of fucking argument. And the devs know that the fucking best build in the game or the most likely build that is using this needs armor too. So they sit there and they go, well, we know you chose life. So we have a feeling that you're going armor. So let's just make armor a little bit less value. No, fuck that, dude. Fuck that shit. Nah.
I can't speak to that as far as whether or not they're
Nah,
doing
bro.
that.
That sounds like some shit that a developer that only knows how to buff HP and fucking damage knows how to do, bro.
Yeah, I can't. All I know is that no, despite the damage I have, my armor is I can't. I'm struggling doing anything above 400 corruption. Now, but my understanding is I'm within the 1%.
Okay,
So
that's good
I'm within the
because
one
you're a path
percent
player.
of the casual players that don't actually ever even get to the opportunity to fight Abraroth. I fucking kill him in like 5 minutes. Like it's fucking quick. Um,
5 minutes is quick.
well, he has stupid phases,
Mm,
and you can't do anything about that. You just gotta wait.
mm.
And then they have
That sounds
it has
fun.
the weird thing of like every time you bring down a phase, he gains an entire health bar back.
Oh yeah, no, fuck
So
that.
you have to
What?
kill him like 8 times in order to actually kill him.
That just sounds like a whole
And
bunch of fucking people
then
didn't want me to play
from
their
my
video game.
understanding, Uber Abraroff has even another layer of fuck you, which is he has the energy shield life bars, right? Where every time you bring them out of phase, he gains an energy shield full life bar.
Hmm.
My understanding of it is, I think within the halfway or when he gets down to 30%, he gains all his HP back.
Yeah, fuck that.
Like, come on. Like that's not even mechanically why? Like really why? Why? Um right now the wall that Alex is hitting is that he can't beat Abraroff. No matter how his character is fucking good. His character is pretty fucking good. I'm actually impressed with his character because he made that by himself, and it excelled early on when it comes to mapping because his character is based on retaliation. So the more
Hmm.
he gets hit, the more he fucking balls out of control with his damage. The
Oh, that's cool.
problem is that bosses don't hit you.
Mm.
They don't hit you. They either kill you or just run around. Like a lot of the bosses in Last Epoch are like one shotters. They're in the dots. One shots and dots. Is what they do. So all the time he has to sit there and self cast some of his spells, and he doesn't do any damage like that because that's this build, it's not built like that.
Mhm.
So unfortunately, he's stuck in this weird way where no matter how much he ups his damage, mechanically he can't do a certain amount of damage. So he ends up dying from just timing and DPS check, basically. Running out of potions and all that shit. Um, so again, but structurally though, um, we are at the 1% mark because we have been able to at least beat him. The last thing of relevance as we reach the 1 hour mark here is a little bit of drama in the Reddit forum in which there's a user by the name, and I want to give him credit. He's on YouTube. And feel free to, you see it right now on your screen if you are watching this on video on YouTube or on Spotify, switch over to your video. His name is 5555 on YouTube. He has 3,000 subscribers. Feel free to drop a subscribe on this. Feel free to give him some love. He made this beautiful hideout. Now, the entire
Gorgeous.
video, the entire video shows you he makes it himself. He does the fucking, he does it. And then he posted this on Reddit. And not 1 or 5 minutes passed before the Reddit moderators came and removed the content. And they dropped a dissertation of an explanation as to like basically saying like we do not want personal attacks and blah 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 and like this is not acceptable and we understand criticisms but no personal attacks. Now, reason why this is bullshit is because what the picture you're seeing right now is not a personal attack on Jonathan. Okay?
No, it's him flipping us off.
No, not even that. This is literally how Jonathan fixes his glasses.
Oh no shit.
This is a video. This is a screenshot of a video interview of Jonathan talking, and at one point in the video, he fixes his glasses with his middle finger and picks up the glasses. And I guess he was like, "Oh, this is perfect." He screenshot it and he recreates that picture in Hideout.
Bro, that's sick.
Now I'm gonna turn it right now. I'm gonna turn it. Now, for those of you looking at the screen, you'll start seeing it, the transposing of it shifting to Jonathan's in the video. And I'm going to try my best to kind of like just skip a little bit ahead, but it's 5 seconds, it's kind of hard. Um, but you kind of see that transition happening from the picture to him. If you look up the original video, I believe this is a Ziggity thing. He casually just uses his middle finger and kind of just picks up his glasses. Nothing crazy about it. But it's just within the
It's a
context.
beautiful moment.
Right. In the middle. And he's smiling too because he should be. He's releasing Path 2. You know what I mean? It's a big deal. It's crazy, right? It just so happened that
I
we're a
can't.
year later. And this is literally the most perfect meme as to what's happening right now. But
Toads.
they're defending but they're making it seem like this is a personal attack, which I personally feel is bullshit. Again, you are a public figure. You are a public company. Like
Has it been allowed to be reposted?
as of as of today and what I've seen, no, they're not
Yo,
allowing that stuff out. So a lot of people are now kind of like calling out the moderators of their bullshit. They're calling GGG for hiding behind this, and it's just like, really, like, what are you talking about? Like, since when have you guys become so like what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word that they use? Like basically hiding behind fake rules, basically. Like,
hmm
are you afraid of criticism? You're afraid of like,
well, I feel like every developer is right now. Tekken, developer, what is that? Bamco, what is that? Namco? I can't remember. But they're doing the same thing. They have a fucking community manager that's been literally looking on Reddit, seeing if your account is like linked to Twitter, and if you're critical of it, he's been banning people on Twitter.
Crazy because you open up these avenues. You use the Reddit, you use the Discords, and to increase engagement of the game, to increase the engagement of developer with users. But then the moment shit starts going south and people start voicing their personal opinions in the matter, then all of a sudden you want to start tying up and censoring type shit. And it's honestly bullshit. Honest bullshit because this picture is not a picture of someone putting a gun to John's head, right? Or doing something crazy.
Yeah,
I made a loot filter of Chris Wilson. I literally made a whole loot filter of Chris Wilson and all his little quirks and all his little uh and I published it. A- Again, am I crit? Yeah, he's saying some funny shit on there. Yeah, some of it's weird, some of it's awkward, but it's you're a public figure. You know what I'm saying? Like criticism and parody and all of these things are what most people say one of the highest forms of flattery. The reason why people are doing this because you are on the spotlight. You in the spotlight. You don't need to hide. Like doing this unfortunately puts you in a more negative light. Now, I'm not saying Jonathan's the one that's talking to these moderators and Jonathan's the one to say, hey, listen, I don't like them. They're hurting my fifis. So please tell them to stop doing that. No, I'm not saying that either. Jonathan probably has no idea what the fuck is happening. But I think that we are at a dangerous. GGG it's in a dangerous crossroads where if it continues in the directory is going, it will not, and maybe this is a hot take, it will not survive another 6 to 9 months. They've already
correct.
shedded two of their longtime developers, and there's Chris Wilson. Now you can have your theories of why Chris Wilson left. You can have your own theories. That's not that's whatever. Here it's neither here nor there. But they're losing two developers out of nowhere. It's not a good. It's, transitions happen, but I tell you right now, if the ship keeps leaking water, you're gonna start seeing in the next 6 to 9 months more and more of its original developers leave the game. And we all know what happens when the original developers of a game leave. That game no longer remains what it originally was. It becomes a shell of
Yeah,
itself. Look at Diablo. Look at
yeah,
any Blizzard game. So I say that both with love, I say that out of concern to Jonathan and his entire team to just figure your shit out. Come out, communicate with us, listen to the community, listen to what we have to say, and wholeheartedly work towards that goal like you originally was.
yeah. I'm just kind of fucking out of it at this point, bro. Not even gonna bullshit. They done. They just. I can't believe how hard they screwed the pooch.
Well, look, man,
It's just really
they
sad.
did. It's all about them owning up to it and then trying to figure out, come up with a solid plan on how to fix it. But you haven't done that. You haven't even proposed what the plan is. Everything you've
Yeah.
said so far is kind of like, maybe.
Fix, maybe fix. We haven't thought about that yet. Fix.
So it's like, so we'll see what happens June. Fact that we have to wait a whole month to figure out, no one's gonna play these private leagues.
Oh no, dude. People on Reddit are already talking about they're not fucking interested in it.
Like, another private settlers? Like, really? Oh, settlers with whatever you want to do. Like, but it's still settlers, bro. Like, come on. But
I would be cool with them bringing back like super old leagues.
They can do. They
Run
can do.
back
They can
run back
do.
expedition.
They can do so many different things. It's just they don't have the team to do it.
Yeah, I know because they suck and they
They,
cannibalize stuff.
yeah, they don't have the team to do it. I think secretly Johnson still has a lot of the Path One team over working at Path Two, and I think that I could be wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I feel this is gonna fucking be bad for Path One content for come June July. I feel like we're gonna get
Yeah.
the worst thing that can happen for Path One, right? Okay, no, no. Let me run this back. The worst thing that can happen for GGG as a company is for them to flop on the Path One next content. If they flop in this next content, they give us some watered down bullshit content. GG won't make it out the year. That's my. They're gonna lose all fucking support. They're gonna lose all support from players like me and people who've strategically like Alex already said he's not buying no more Path of Exile support packs.
Yeah, I won't be either.
So like they're gonna start hemorrhaging a lot of money. So maybe if Tencent floats some more money, but we already know that you start owing Tencent money. Tencent is not gonna fuck around. But you know, if they really if they give us some watered down content and it's just utter trash or boring or it just flops, people are gonna disappear from Path. They're gonna disappear.
Yeah.
And right
A lot of
now,
people won't pick the
unfortunately, the
game up again.
ARPG realm, there ain't a lot of games.
I feel like a lot of people are just going to drop the game.
Yeah,
Like,
they're not
yeah.
gonna trust them. They're gonna trust them.
Imagine, you're playing like the rerun of like what's it called, and you drop your first mirror. How fucking boring.
The rerun of what?
Another fresh, yeah. They're gonna do this again into 2026 because PoE 2 is not gonna be fixed. That's
Now
just my feeling, bro.
the
I,
next
I it's not
conversation
true, but
as we wrap this up is the next conversation is what happens to us.
uh, I was actually considering becoming like a Delta Force streamer, bro.
Oh well, to everyone here, man. Look, we started with Path. We started with the purpose of making a channel to really talk about the games that we love. And at the time, and in our hearts, it was Path of Exile. So we figured, hey, that's a logical move, right? But unfortunately, like everything, nothing lasts forever. If in the case and situation, I guess that Path no longer is with us, that we have to make strategic, we'll have those conversations and we'll communicate to all of you what comes next. Uh, Whether that
Yeah, if we
requires
pivot, we'll let everybody know.
yeah, well, if it requires a name change, we're still gonna play paying games. I think both of us are like lifetime gamers, so most of us are gonna continue games, reviewing games, talking about games. Uh, it may not be Path anymore, but we'll be talking about something. We'll be playing something. That much is guaranteed. Uh, for those of you who love Command and Conquer games, check out Tempest Rising. That shit's pretty fucking dope. Um, like it scratches that Command and Conquer itch. It really does.
That's fair.
Uh, but other
I
than
was
that,
actually thinking about putting a few more hours into Dead Zone Rogue, put it because that's
right,
getting an
right.
up. That went into
Release or early access.
that goes into early access today.
Okay. So
And
there's a few.
Trepang. I'm also like I tried Trepang 2.
Who?
Fucking Trepang 2. I know. I have never heard of the game either. Old game. Uh, fun as hell.
Chopin.
Trepang 2 or Trepang Squared, I think is actually
I
what it's
feel like the
supposed to
more
be.
you say it, the more it confuses me. Chopin.
Trepang.
Chopin.
Trepang.
Chopin. Okay. I gotta Google this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Unfortunately, sorry for that. We don't have any news. But if you look across all of the content creators for Path of Exile, they all have 80 different episodes of bad news. Like they literally, that's like Ghazi, kids, like everyone is like, yeah, it's all bad news. It's all bad. Like it's hard to sugarcoat this. It's hard. So yeah, it's we're just on the side of not making content if there's nothing really to talk about. So we'll catch you in the next one. Whether or not it's in a week from now, 2 weeks, or 4 weeks, or whatever the fuck, we'll be back. In the meantime, stay safe out there and enjoy. Summer's coming.
Be cool, people. We love you. Bye.
See you later.